Yasuke was the first African samurai ever, and Queen Amina was a fierce queen in West Africa. Not much documented history is abundant when it comes to these fierce warriors, but one thing is true, they made a mark in African history. So if we put them in a hypothetical battle, who would win in an all-out fight? That is what we'll discuss today on Africa Assemble. By the way, be a friend and subscribe, click the notification button to never miss our videos, and like this video to help us make more content you love about our amazing continent. Let's dive in. Yasuke was a slave taken by his Italian missionary master to Japan, and though many scholars say he was from Mozambique, some have said he could have been from Ethiopia. The story goes that as he arrived in the land of the rising sun, the Japanese natives were in awe of his size and his skin color. Eventually, a Japanese warlord by the name of Nobunaga asked to see him and was convinced that Yasuke had charcoal on his skin. He stripped Yasuke and ordered his servants to wash the black paint off his skin, but was surprised that he was a black man. The warlord's love for Yasuke was undeniable as he enlisted Yasuke into his samurai army, where Yasuke enjoyed the lifestyle of being a samurai with land, money, and his own servants. Yasuke fought many battles for Nobunaga and was imposing on the battlefield, as it was mentioned that he had the strength of 10 men. Eventually, Nobunaga was betrayed by his general and Yasuke was captured. In captivity, Yasuke was sent back to the church as he was deemed less than a man by his enemies. This ultimately made him a ronin. Not much is known about what happened to him after that. Queen Amina, on the other hand, was the daughter of the king of Zazzau in the 16th century. When her father died, her brother became king, while she on the other hand trained in the art of warfare. Eventually her brother died and she became the first queen of Zazzau, a time she spent on a 34-year campaign against neighboring cities. She loved riding horses into battle and is said to have improvised the armor of her soldiers. At the height of her campaign, she led about 20,000 men into battle with an additional 1,000 cavalry troops. Like Yasuke, Amina's death is shrouded in mystery, as some will mention that she died in Ataga. Yasuke was a samurai in the 1500s, so he would be clad in armor, understand the Bushido code, and be trained in different forms of martial arts. He would also be holding a katana and a wakizashi on his hip most of the time. Though the swords are famous with samurais, they were typically the last weapons of choice, after the longbow or a spear. Queen Amina, on the other hand, was an expert horse rider and a deadly swordswoman. Coming from the ancient Hausa Empire, her weapon of choice would usually be the Takouba, a slim double-edged 3-foot sword that is light, resembling the sword of an English knight. So if these two got into battle, who would win? Yasuke is bigger and more protected of the two. Standing at over 6 feet and wielding 2 blades, Yasuke would definitely have the advantage. The armor of the samurai was made of iron and leather in compartments, covering the important parts of the body. The helmet was made of metal and was designed to intimidate on the battlefield. Because of the angle of the shikoro, it would be hard to take a swipe at the neck of a samurai. If Yasuke initially decided to fire an arrow and hit Amina, she would be in trouble as her chain armor did not do very well against arrows. Even though Yasuke had the size, armor, and weapons advantage, Queen Amina was a war tactician, understood military techniques, and was more experienced in fighting a different array of warriors as opposed to Yasuke only fighting samurais. She also was more adept at cavalry warfare than Yasuke, as she spent most of her life training with horses. Her size would also be an advantage as she would have been quicker than Yasuke. If Amina would understand the armor of Yasuke, she would know how to get under the protected parts of Yasuke's body and pierce him. The Takouba was double-edged and longer, while the katana is shorter with a single edge. In a battle, Yasuke would most likely attack first with a longbow as Amina comes charging with a horse, and if connected would end the fight pretty quickly. However, if Amina was able to dodge the arrows and get into close combat with Yasuke, it's hard to believe she would not have the edge based on the versatility of the sword, the lightness of her armor, and the superior war tactics. Yasuke's armor would eventually turn against him if this fight went on for a while, as it weighed about 55 pounds. Additionally, Amina would have the reach advantage as the Takouba is almost a foot longer than the katana. Though the katana would look cooler, it would not help in a battle against the Takouba, as it was mainly for slicing and would go blunt after repetitive clashes with the Takouba. A duel with swords will usually end with whoever is able to take advantage and strike the decisive blow. In conclusion, though Queen Amina would understand the tactics of warfare more than Yasuke and could go toe-to-toe with any lethal warrior, Yasuke would have the upper hand in his armor and the variety of weapons at his disposal. However, as the battle wears out, Yasuke's armor would become his worst enemy, and if Amina was able to use this against him, she could end the fight. My money would be on Queen Amina, but it would be interesting to see your thoughts on this. Now we turn the question to you. Who would win in this out-of-time 16th century battle? Share this with a friend and drop a comment if you disagree or would like to request a video. Till then, brothers and sisters, have a lovely day.